Out of all the stories I cover, all the companies I pay attention to, the different movie properties and entertainment things and whatnot, Netflix is one that I pay attention to probably the most because I'm always curious what that company is doing. I'm always curious what they're up to. And I think that quite frankly, if you're following what they're doing, you can see how they're bracing for impact against Disney Plus. And they're just not talking about it because they don't want to draw attention to it, but it's a very fascinating play. So if you're unfamiliar with what Netflix is up to right now, let me just kind of quickly fill you in. So they are still the number one, have been for years, and that's not going to change anytime soon. But with Disney Plus coming out in November, there have been reports in recent studies that have shown that up to 15% of Netflix users in the United States are looking to cancel the membership and jump over to Disney Plus because of the type of content that it's going to have over there. Not just Star Wars or Marvel, but access to the entire library of Disney films at a certain time. At the beginning, it won't happen, but they're obviously going to be bringing out most of the content over the span of, I believe, the next year. So Netflix is kind of worried, I think, but they're not going to be public about being worried. They're not going to come out there and say that they're worried because they don't want to give Bob Iger anything. They don't want to give Bob Iger a damn thing. They want to make sure that everyone who follows them knows that things are okay. So you see headlines like Netflix is looking to invest $2 billion more in original content in 2019, putting it to a $10 billion spend. Now that particular spend is something that quite frankly seems like a good thing to viewers and to shareholders. Oh, they're confident enough in the amount of money they're going to be bringing in that they're not worried about the potential loss of 15% of their subscription count. And so they're just keeping on business as usual. Not only that, but they've recently got into the Sirius XM game where you can go and listen to their stand-up specials, that you can check out Netflix comic publishing through Millar World. They're talking about something I heard actual publishing, and they're in the process of discussing potentially purchasing the Egyptian theater on Hollywood Boulevard. I mean, they're doing everything. Never mind the production studio, the $1 billion production studio that they're building in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Netflix is looking to sustain itself for quite some time. And I think they're going to do it through quite frankly, going through one key element that I've been noticing a lot more in 2019, and that is horror. Now, I talked about this yesterday in the Voorhees video that I did, where I said that out of all the fandoms in the world, horror fans are the most dedicated. Out of all the fandoms, they are the most dedicated because it doesn't matter if the content is good or bad. In fact, in some cases, the campier, the better. They love horror. Horror movie fanatics keep that whole thing going. And it could be a big budget movie like the remake of Halloween or the reboot of Halloween, really, or it could be small, nothing horror films that are put out on Netflix or on other streaming services or something you might find at a Redbox. And Netflix has been really cranking out the horror as well as the true crime, playing into that type of audience. And those audiences are fucking dedicated. Those audiences are insanely dedicated. And I think that's what's going to ultimately end up saving Netflix from Disney Plus. People who are huge fans of horror but got kids and want them watching Disney stuff are going to get both. And if you can maintain a solid horror output, those fans are going to come over and they're going to stick with Netflix because that's where they're going to get their horror content. And it's not just movies, it's TV series. You had, what was that new zombie one that was kind of a take on Z Nation, Black something or another. I don't quite know. I've never seen the show, but here's the thing. The reviews are kind of crap, but the audience reviews are pretty high. So people seem to like it. They've got a take on a slasher flick coming out at the end of this month. They've got that Ted Bundy movie with Zac Efron came out today. Extremely disgusting and incredibly vile, or whatever it's called. I'm going to watch it tonight. But I mean, there's all of those things, right? All of those things are happening in regards to Netflix, and they're really playing up that particular angle, especially true crime. Not only did Making a Murderer put them on the map in regards to that type of documentary filmmaking, but the Bundy tapes were so popular, Netflix had to come out and outright ask women to stop fawning over Ted Bundy. Like, listen, he's dead, and he's a psychotic murderer that would kill you and then probably have sex with your body to revisit the killing of you. Like, that's what he would do. But they have found this niche And it's not children's programming, although they're not going to stop putting out children's programming. They understand and they realize that they're going to cater to an older audience that likes true crime, and also an audience out there that loves horror. Like I said, if you can tap into that, if you can keep that content coming at a steady, consistent pace, and horror is always low budget. It's always lower budget. And the reason why is because it doesn't take a lot to scare you. Fake blood, red dye, and corn syrup doesn't take a lot to manufacture, and people can make horror movies on a budget. I know I made a thriller for $500 that we shot in 2 days. Like we made another movie for that was a horror film set in a movie theater that we made for, I think, $2,000 in 5 days. That will never ever see the light of day, unfortunately. But if it ever does, I'm going to try to sell it to Netflix, or at least talk to the director to sell it to Netflix. But the point is, horror is what is going to save Netflix from Disney. The horror fandom is what's going to save Netflix from Disney. I am very sure of that, because they know how to tap into that base core response, right? South Park was right when talking about IDTV. They called it informative murder porn. And that line, that joke, has stuck with that particular genre. And so horror ties into that because it plays to our base instincts, our base fears. And I think ultimately when it comes to Netflix, that should be their course of action. Yeah, get the big budget movies you want to make, obviously all that stuff, but your underlying core fan base, at least here in the United States, and I think in the Western world, are going to be horror fanatics. And that kind of stuff is what's going to keep Netflix with that dedicated base of people that are going to spend the monthly subscription, probably no matter how high they put it, if the quality of content is still good. Keep Black Mirror coming, make more Bandersnatches, do more things like that, like Dark or Rain, and those kind of stories that really scare the shit out of people. And you're going to find yourself with a very solid, dedicated group that will double pay for not only Netflix, but Disney Plus at the same time. Like I said, it's always good to watch what Netflix is doing, because what they do is going to impact a lot of us in regards to our viewing habits and our streaming habits, given how we like to technically follow all of these trends as they happen. But look, those are just my thoughts on this one. I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be wrong. I'd like to hear your thoughts, your opinions. You can let me know down in the comments below. Have yourself a great day, guys, and peace out. Hey, thank you very much for making it to this point in the video. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, you can always toss a like, or if you want to go a step further, why not check out patreon.com/MattJarbo, where you can support the channel directly. For just a few dollars a month, you get access to our private Discord and our private Facebook group, where we talk about movies 24/7, as well as a lot of new stuff coming throughout 2019. Thank you guys again very much. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.